start by saying your name, degree, your year, and if you're in a political faction?
Okay, so my name is Mike Mao. I'm a second year international student from China. I'm now doing Bachelor of Biomedical Engineering. And I'm not affiliated with any political party, but I will take everything in a case by case basis.
Okay. So do you have any political views outside of university campus or anything like that?
No, I'm running as independence and yeah.
And do you think the board should be political? Should it be motivated by kind of your political thoughts?
What I think is the board, like the board of directors should make a decision which will bring the board in on the right track, but rather if it's the decision is from a political party but also will benefit the board and its students, I think that would be good. But otherwise, there's no real connection between the board itself and some other political party. It's not necessary to have those connections.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, it goes back to my first year. I signed up for so many stuff in a week, and I did a lot of international and exchange student orientations. As a member of USU volunteer team, and then I see all the different kind of student lifestyles, and I developed my own vision of USU, which I think something should be improved, something should be addressed. Yeah, that's all from my previous experience.
And what do you think you can bring to the union above all other candidates running this year?
Sorry?
What do you think you can bring to the union that's different to other candidates and above other candidates this year?
Okay, so my vision of USU is to increase students' well-being as well as close the gap between divisions that exist in campus. I see many kind of different divisions. There are cultural divisions, social divisions, economical divisions, and political divisions. That's something I wanted to close the gap with.
So which of your policies best closes the gap or helps close the divisions between people on campus?
Out of my 5 policies, I think my Humans of USIT, welfare code, access, basically just everything. All my policies can achieve my visions. I will explain later. Okay, the thing is, if students' mental health problem could not be solved, then it's very hard for them to engage further with something else. So this welfare code, I aim to solve those problems which are below legal matters. University of Sydney, they have their own welfare code. It's called the University of Sydney welfare code is called Bully, Harassment and Discrimination Prevention Policy, 2015 edition, and address a lot about some what the definition of unlawful stuff, but they didn't everything is about unlawful. But when you can define something below the legal matter, which is what I'm trying to achieve. Yeah.
Okay. So for the welfare policy, a lot of the USU already for a lot of clubs and societies, they already have what is called a CNS education program, where they're talking to leaders of societies and helping them deal with inappropriate behaviour and having frameworks to help incidents that are underneath the unlawful limit.
Yeah.
So how does your policy differ from what they're already implementing?
Okay, my policy will be more in details. I can show some example how my policy will implement on some situations. For example, let's say the alcohol consumption problem. It's a really big problem in this university. we had like Sydney Uni has some reputations about alcohols, and then let's just imagine there is a guy. He goes to like a club and society event regularly, and always consume a lot of alcohol and get drunk, and that will damage both Sydney Uni and Union's reputation. And is there a way to prevent him from doing so? So restrict him from drinking too much alcohol in clubs and society events. So something we can propose in the welfare code is, let's say, if the society executive or like the majority of society members think this person drink too much alcohol like every time, then we can initiate a general meeting, which if the majority of members vote yes, then we can like put some conditions for drinking alcohol on him, such as like you can only drink 3 standard shots a night, something like that. And also for harassment, there are like before the harassment getting worse to like the point of its legal matter. How do we prevent and reduce those potential harassments? Like if there is a guy sending all other people some like harassing messages on Facebook Messenger, but it's not like illegal enough that you can call the police or let the uni security to handle him, and then this welfare code will maybe like initialize a way that you can expel him from this club and societies if you get a majority of members vote yes.
Okay.
Something like that. Like right now, I spend a lot of time on International Review Society. It was proposed by the board director Zhixian Wang last year as one of her campaign policy, and she made that happen now. So I value this society very much. I had a great time with all the casts, like doing rehearsal and yeah.
So what's like a USU initiative or policy in recent years that's really impressed you?
I think it is, I think the very recent one, the alcohol consumption outside the campus, USU decided to no longer fund those events. I think this is reasonable for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was quite controversial. So when that happened, do you think that like if you had been how would you have reached out to students who maybe didn't agree with the policy?
Okay, so when the board made this decision to vote yes for this policy, I think they have been already like reached out to many different identity groups, like many different groups, and asked them for their suggestions. I think this is already been done. That goes to my experience in USU volunteer team. I'm in a program called Ambassador Program, which we do lots of orientations, and like as the ambassador members, we also designed some social events for exchange students. So I have the experience of leading new arrival students, hosting campus tour, hosting tours around Sydney, and as well as designing social event for them to engage with each other. Okay, the reason I think this year is the best choice for me is like I think from an independence perspective, I already built up this vision of my USU, like the vision of USU, and I think I could not like wait for 1 or 2 more years to implement it. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that like a lot of your policies are targeting international students in particular?
No.
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 Okay.
my policy targeting everyone in general, except the one which is offering like interpreting and translation service for mental health purpose to international and exchange students.
Okay.
That's the only one. As a board director, we have to think about everything, not just like one group that will create more divisions. That's something I don't want to see. Yeah.
Okay. So then would you support something like an affirmative action policy for international students?
Oh, so last year, one of the candidates, Alexander Shu, he wrote down this like affirmative action for international students. At least one board director has to be international student every year. So I think this sounds reasonable, but this is not the priority which the USU board need to look at. Like, yeah, if someone has the ability to lead a student as a board director, and he or she got enough people to support him, then this person definitely will be the board director. It's people's choice. Yeah.
So then do you support affirmative action for women?
Okay, I wasn't the person who voted yes for affirmative action in the board, but I would rather discuss with different people in this union and then make decisions.
So you would consider getting rid of the affirmative action policy if there was enough support on board? So the affirmative action policy is basically in a year where there's 5 directors to be elected, 2 must be women. So you said you didn't necessarily agree with that, is that correct?
I believe people will choose the right candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think
it doesn't matter their gender or their religion, gender, doesn't matter. People will choose the best candidate for the USU board.
So say in this election you get the 5th amount of votes, but there's only one woman who gets more than you. That would mean a woman would be elected in your place, that you wouldn't get a role on board because of the affirmative action policy.
Yeah.
So do you agree having that policy?
I would so if that is the case, I'm the 5th one, and I got there's a woman identified candidate took my place. Then this is a part of USU regulation, and I already signed up says I will obey all the regulations. So I have no argument for this.
Yes, you'll obey it, but will you, if you were elected, would you continue to have this policy?
I would think about it if I got elected as a board director.
Okay.
Yeah, because as I mentioned many times, people choose the best candidate. It doesn't matter their gender.
Okay. Let's talk about some of your policies. So, for example, this Humans of Usage, which you said will bring social divisions together and get rid of those barriers.
Yeah.
Why do you think that you need to use student money to create this page rather than maybe just creating it yourself?
Okay. Yeah. First thing, so for those kind of platform, we need a very broad audience space, and USU's already got their audiences, which is everyone who bought access card. And then those programs require a very reasonable amount of humans' time to implement, and without USU's funding, and it's very hard to make those kind of programs. Do you know the Humans of Sydney Law?
Yes.
It's on Facebook, and you see the last post they did was in 2017. Which haven't been updated for a while.
Yeah.
And some other I see some other Humans of Sydney blah blah blah, which is in the school. They all died out because there wasn't enough support for them.
Yeah. So, but do you think that the USU currently has their access page, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times they will kind of take pictures of students and talk about their like roles on board or that kind of thing, like or showcasing student life, showcasing people at Funch. So do you think this is something that the USU Facebook page already does? Take pictures of students?
Well, right now USU's like take picture of student to promote their events. Like all the volunteer follow in Funch is to promote like Funch event. It brings people's understanding to USU, but my goal is to use USU's platform to get people's understanding about each other. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do think that this is a good use of students' money to be starting a new Facebook page?
Like, it's not necessary to be a Facebook page.
Okay.
It will be, in my vision, it will be a program of USU.
What do you mean a program?
It's like other programs, which you get people to like amount of stuff to taken care of. There will be editors like Honiswa, like something like that.
So what kind of form would it take if not a Facebook page?
Sorry?
Like if it's not a Facebook page, how will students find it? What do you imagine it to be, even if you said?
So it will be like it's like pop media on USU's page. Yeah, but like of course this program will also use Facebook page to promote.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're thinking of it as more of a website.
Yeah.
Like Pulp.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that it could be like in Pulp?
Pulp focus on more about like media kind of thing, but this is just a photo blog. So I think it will be separated from Pulp. But if there is a way to combine them together, of course.
Okay. And then in terms of one of your big policies was the access membership, splitting it into month by month.
Yeah.
So have you considered that the reason that the USU wants people to pay $75 up front is so that they know how much money they have for their budget for the year? And that's how they kind of forecast their budgets and figure out like how much money they can give to this department or this department. If you break that down into kind of like a monthly payment model where people can be like, I want to be a USU Access member this month, but not next month, it's going to kind of throw out the balance a bit.
I understand what you mean. Yeah. Of course, I acknowledge that problem, but the way how this like monthly subscription work is there are two ways. First way is you still buy the whole year like membership, but instead of paying $75 straight away, you pay 75 divided by 12, plus like some maybe there's surcharge fee for direct debit payment. So it's like a direct debit payment. You still pay the money for whole year, like you still purchase a whole year membership, but you pay monthly. And the second way is to just like you pay 1 month's membership, but that will cost slightly higher than 75 divided by 12. Let's say you pay $10 every month. Yeah, this will definitely attract those people who think, okay, if I purchase Access membership for 1 year and then holiday and exams kick in, then it's a waste. And I will choose to not to purchase Access membership. Someone will think in that way. And if they can purchase Access membership just for like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but pay like $10 every month, this will definitely attract them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but like a lot of those people who might wanting to buy the monthly payment model, they won't buy the yearly access card, and then Access membership might have a negative effect on how many Access members there are, because at the beginning of the year they're like, oh, I'll just buy my access card later. So do you think that the union will run into difficulties when they at the beginning of the year, when they kind of count how many people have signed up at O-Week, and they won't be able to, and they'll have like a smaller budget to work with?
Okay. So for your question, this will be like the union. Like, of course, there will be difficulty if we implement another kind of payment options. Yeah, of course, there will be difficulty. But this is something which, like, before this proposed model goes to life, this is something which union must go investigating,
Right.
to find out.
So when you created this policy, did you think of any other alternatives to make access more affordable?
Yeah, like I see some other candidates also suggest like many candidates this year they wrote down something about decreased access payment. Yeah, I think people like everyone want access to be cheaper, and of course there are also alternative way, but the way I propose, I think for myself, I think it's the best way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in terms of if you get elected to board, who do you think out of this year's candidates would you be able to work best with?
Okay. So. Yeah, everyone in this year they are very competitive. Yeah, so I think there are some people they have the potential to be board director, because from what I can gather, their policy are pretty good and their teams are very strong. So, for example, like in the male candidates, there's like domestic students, there's Lachlan Finch and Connor. I think they are, from what I can get, they are pretty strong candidates. Like I'm very strong as well. Yeah.
So do you think you could work best with?
I would say their policies are quite attractive.
Okay.
But like if you are talking about working with like a preference deal or later on working on the board, yeah, definitely.
So so you agree with those candidates the most with their policies?
Every candidate, their policy sounds reasonable, like, but I think they are they are people I would like to work on. And there's also in international people. There's also Janet. I know she's a great person. We do international review together, and I think she will be a great representative for international students if she get elected.
So which candidate do you agree with the least?
Okay, yeah, that's a tough question. For their policies, I think Daniel Lee, I agree with least. The reason is because after I read through all his policies, I think he hasn't done enough research about it. Like there's this is nothing personal.
Yeah.
This is nothing personal. Just like from what I can get from his policy. For example, he said he will renovate all the USU buildings. That's a money thing. That's definitely a money thing. And he didn't give details on what exactly he want to renovate. But of course, after he discussed with Honey and when that goes public, I will see more about his vision. His other policies, such as medical zones, we already have a medical area in Wentworth building. Yeah, like pretty large medical area. And the last line of his policy focus on the main campus, but as well as other campus. That's not even a policy. Yeah.
Okay. And do you think so you mentioned you would like to work with Connor, Lachlan and Janet. So if I have to pick if I have to pick person, I would say. So do you think you will direct voter preferences to these candidates?
There are too many unstable elements in the campaign. For example, like I will know more about them once Honiswa publishes their interview online, right? Yeah. Like right now, I'm not very I don't know much about those candidates except maybe Janet, because she's a close friend of mine. But if we speak about the preference deal, then I think like there are too many unstable elements to do. So maybe I will, if I decide to make a preference deal, then maybe it will be the last couple days of the campaign where I can see how every candidate perform and how their vision of USU is like.
So you haven't started negotiations yet?
I'm open for negotiation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. And then who do you think will support in the upcoming presidential elections if you're elected to board?
Okay, I think like for like everyone knows yes, Liliana and Jacob.
Yeah.
They wanna be the president. Yeah, I think they are very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they're gonna yeah, I'm not sure which one to choose, but also I know my friend like Zhixian Wang. She's also like a quite good board director. So, and I think she has the potential to be president as well. But like that's a very tough thing to choose, and I can only choose if I get elected.
Okay, so you don't want to say who you will support.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's been some controversy over the recent changes made to the USU polling stations. So the Merriweather polling booth has been closed, and the International Students Lounge booth will only be open for pre-polling. What do you think about these changes?
Okay. I think a union has its own reason to close those like voting station, but like in my opinion, just like what one of the SRC people on Honiswa said, all the voting stations should be equally distributed in the campus. Yeah.
So you do support these changes?
I don't support these changes, but since they already changed it, it's something we need to adapt.
Okay.
And
so
yeah, it will make like those people who only focus on international students. Let's say like some international student candidate, their policy is like only focus on international students. They are doing international student campaign. I think it will be harder for them because there are many international students. They are in ABS doing business degree, and it will take some time for them to work to PNR and ISL and Wentworth building. Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned that you don't want to like only focus on international students.
Yeah.
So if you were elected to board, would you kind of follow people like Coco and Jushan in wanting to do the international students portfolio, or is that something that you don't really want to focus your attention on that portfolio?
My vision is to close the gaps. I will do what's necessary to close the gaps. If international student portfolio is a way to let domestic students know more about them, of course I will do it. But if there's something in domestic students that will attract more international students, getting each other to know, then I will also do it. Yeah.
So when you talk about closing the gap and identifying the gap, what do you think are the problems between like engaging students who haven't been engaged with the union, whether they are international or domestic students? What are the biggest issues that you see happening?
So language barrier, and also it's hard for some people to get out of their comfort zone. And the last thing is the promotion hasn't done enough. Many of my friends, when I tell them, oh, there's an event today somewhere maybe in Korea, they were like, oh, I didn't know it, like the promotion hadn't been done enough. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you think that you could promote it better?
Okay, there's something in my mind, such as USU can use its own Facebook and Instagram platform to promote some clubs and societies' major event. Yeah, like last year there was a Japanese festival in International Student Lounge, nearly the end of semester 2. And this is something that USU should definitely put on their Facebook. Let's say, okay, maybe let's use Wasabi Society as an example. Wasabi Society is gonna host their annually Japanese festival in International Student Lounge. Yeah. And because USU has their audience base on Instagram and Facebook, but right now USU spend most of their post on those social media doing some other stuff. Like last year, they were focusing on coffee mugs, and there were some times they were focusing on campus fashion. Yeah, I think they can do something for clubs and society using social media.
Yeah. So when you say about like the language barrier and feeling out of your comfort zone, do you think that those two things that you said are more issues that face international students or face all students?
It's facing all students. Cause
even the language barrier.
Not the language barrier, but get out of your comfort zone. Like language barrier will only cause the process of getting your comfort zone worse. So the priority is make people get out of your comfort zone. You if like let's say for promotion, if they don't know any event exists in campus, then of course like they already feel like okay, if I talk with strangers, I might feel a bit awkward, and then this is the time that you need to let them know, okay, there's so many things going on, maybe try out one or two, and then you will feel better. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this counselling service policy.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that we provide free mental health psychologists to international exchange students in different languages.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that the USU will duplicate the CAP service, but for non-English speakers?
Okay, so for the CAP service, they provide free mental health counseling services for like in English.
Yeah.
And what USU can do is provide like interpreting and translation services to international student or like student whose like English is not that great. And yeah, there are many like organizations in New South Wales, such as Multicultural New South Wales. They provide with interpreting services, but it costs like $200 2 hours. It's something that student could not afford, but that's why the union's like resources has to be spent on the most important stuff. For example, mental health problem. Yeah.
So how many languages do you think you would want to provide? Because the more languages you provide, the more people you need and the more money you would need to spend.
It depends on how many languages people are requesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you think there are better ways to kind of achieve this outcome though? Such as like what other ways could you, if the USU comes back and says, you know, it's too expensive to hire interpreters to work at CAPS and translate for these students, what are some other ways that you could use the union to achieve the same goal?
Okay, so so I think my answer will be like so the alternative way will be provide more like training to USU staff members. Like this is something other people also propose, like provide more training to USU staff member, clubs and society executives. So to minimize the problem from the source. So something I know, it's prevention is always better than the cure. So if USU and the clubs and society can function in a way that will reduce potential mental health problems, then it's definitely a choice to do so. Yeah. But I will put my main focus on getting like translation and interpretation.
Okay.
First.
So you see that as more of a union's...
My vision, and something I want to propose.
So do you think that it's the union's responsibility to do that, or do you think that the university should already be providing these services?
Okay, university hasn't been providing these services. Yeah, and like if university can't do it, I think the student union should consider doing it.
Okay, so would you consider lobbying the university, using the union to get the union to kind of try to convince the university to hire people to speak languages other than English?
I think this is something that the union can also suggest to the university. If we also get support from universities, that would be much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, about this counselling service. So it will cost a lot of money to kind of hire all these people who are trained in mental health issues and are able to provide translating services at CAP service. So how are you going to find that money, or what do you think that what have you considered getting that money out of? And as well as this, how will you make sure that even though you're setting up this program that is beneficial for students, that you also have other ways to increase the USU's profits?
I understand what you mean. You mean the money has to come out from somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So there are many ways to get money from in USU. For example, the recent alcohol policy change, USU no longer fund outside campus alcohol event. Then that's some small amount of money can come from. And there are other things as a board director, we see the financial situation of union and decide where to put the funding. So if I get elected, I will take a really deep look at USU's financial situation. This is something I can do before I get elected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And last question, your last policy is the open air cinemas that are going to be free for USU students.
Yeah.
So this is also something that's going to cost a lot of money. How much do you think it would cost realistically?
Okay. The thing which costs money is the copyright of the license of the movie, and projectors and screens. They are one-off purchase. Mm-hmm. The thing which costs money regularly is the license, and to get a license, different movie has different price for their public screening licenses. So, yeah.
Okay, so you think the only cost would just be buying the movie costs?
Yeah, and everything else. Let's say if we hold the open air cinema in Korea,
right?
Then and that happened in a week this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we already have all the chairs from Korea, so that doesn't cost money because they already exist. And the only thing is the license.
And do you think that there'd be enough students who kind of are keen to see these movies? Why do you think that people want to spend their time watching movies on campus?
Well, this will be one of the access perks that the membership can get. Just think about how many people has engaged with the function event every Wednesday. How many people has engaged with function event? I was a volunteer for function, and all the food just this is an event which USU give away free food, and then all the food are gone in 20 minutes. So people want the free stuff to happening, and this open air cinema, this free open air cinema in general can be some other free stuff, which will bring more engagement with students, and also students who does not have access membership after they see so many perks, they might think about purchasing access. And my other policy, which is the monthly payment access, which will bring more accessibility for those students.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.